Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Three Stacks. A couple people were asking me, hey man, we haven't seen your heralds in a minute, so I'm gonna show you guys where it's at now. Man, like I've said, probably like one too many times. I'll always change this deck. Every time you see it, it's never the same. So this is very, very interesting because it's actually Herald Invoked, and the reason why I'm running Herald Invoked is because my problem, a lot of times, if I don't have two Heralds on board when I just have one, if it gets Kaiju'd, it's a huge problem because like that's my ultimate defense right there. And so I kind of wanted to basically incorporate a new sword and shield. So this guy is basically Makaba's my sword and Herald is my shield. So attacker defender, I like it a lot. Really cool. But yeah, the idea was basically you want to be able to play around D barriers. So you want to use that invocation if you have to as a bait for them to call fusion so you can ritual. And also when you make your Herald a Mechaba, it's like Kaiju 1, but I still get to negate either way. It's really cool. I like it a lot. And one more thing I'll note before I get into the actual deck is most of the times I have nothing but fairies and spells in my hand, right? So Herald can, he can discard all my fairies in order to negate. And those spells, I can utilize Mechaba by pitching those spells, those extra spell cards in my hand, just by negating spells, and banishing them. So it's really clutch because basically it's like it utilizes more of your hand for negation, and it's just like it's super broken because naturally they may think that I burned him out of fairies, he has no more in hand, but then like you still have spells in your hand and you still have Mechaba and you can still negate spells, which are all just basically all spells are play starters for most decks, Pot of Desires, Grass Looks Greener, like Kaiju Slumber, stuff like that. Really clutch. But here's the main deck. Without further ado, we've got a Three of the Man himself. Really incredible, overpowered card. I like him a lot. Just really, really clutch. This has been my first love for forever, man. I mean, like if you guys remember back in the day, Master Hyperion and Agents, that was a thing. Like I ran Hyperion Agents with Herald of Perfection. I ran the Dikatamas and I ran Advanced Ritual Art. Those are the days, man. And then we've got 3 Pom Pom Girl. She's my main hoe right now, She's been making me a lot of money, so I just keep her on that corner. But this is clutch. It's basically your lineup for the blue cards. And then 3 Mr. Crowley. This guy is just so powerful. What I like about the Invoke engine, more specifically in the Heralds, is we all know Heralds plus a lot. Like they gain a lot of card advantage, and they never ever neg, except when he's actually negating, discarding from hand to negate. But also, there are certain situations where you negate an effect. Like, say, for example, your opponent, utilize a couple resources to make a monster. Then you negate that monster's effect. Even though you're losing that one card, think of how many cards it costed for them to, get to that point. So it's not always a neg, but most importantly, what I'm saying is Herald's only neg when it negates. Everything else is always plussing. So what I like about this guy is with the invoked plays, if you play your invocation, it's a 1-card fusion, right? Because most of the time this guy's either on the field or in the grave. And mostly it's going to be in the grave. So when you play your one invocation, bring out your fusion, you recycle invocation and you get Mr. Crowley back. So basically you fused for nothing, absolutely nothing. The 1 card it costed for you to fuse, you replace it with another card. So you fusion for free. You make Herald for free. So it's like all of your plays do not cost you any resources. So I really do like it. And the invoke kind of just, it not only gives you more muscle and more firepower, just for attacking, but it also baits out certain things, like I was saying, dimensional barrier, and they might want to waste that strike on, your invokes. So it's really clutch, and it just it gives the deck more variety and more diversity in its plays, and it's really cool. Like I love it a lot. It's just so powerful, so broken. No, this is the best engine of all time. Just it's so incredible. The way this deck is hardwired. I think of it like this. Every time I make my Herald, he's just like bam, puts a chair behind him, sits on it, and then he's like, bam, I got my scepter. I'm the king, you feel me? I'm wielding that staff. I'm sitting on my throne, and I'm about to negate everything. It's really cool. Basically, every time I make my Herald, I search for these pieces to make it. So it's like, think of it this way. These 3 cards belong together. This is Herald of Perfection's staff because he is the king, you feel me? And this sovereignty is basically his throne. So we can think of it, his staff and his throne. Really broken. Just some of the most incredible plays you can make in this deck, or just this engine. And utilizing Daigusto Emerald, you're able to just go Star Seraph, just stick chair off just for days. So yeah, these are like the best engine cards, definitely. And then in tandem with that, we have 2 Honest. I actually hit up a couple people for some ghost rare honest. I'm gonna bling these out, you feel me? But two honest, two clutch, very very strong. When you have to poke for damage and you kind of have to leave Herald in attack after that, honest always comes in handy because he's only 1800 attack, so it's like, you know, you kind of have to, especially with people just always being able to attack over Herald. It seems to be a thing. And the one Jew, you could definitely run it at more. I've ran it at 3 at one point in time, but it's like, you know, the deck goes through so many changes. I don't want too many normal summons. Even though technically speaking, aside from honest, all of my normal summons are like consistent and, you know, search. I basically, right now, the normal summons are the 1, the 4, and the 7. And I feel like these 7 normal summons are more than enough for me. Now, continuing on to the spells, the pluses, we've got, you know, the sauce. Then we've got 3 of the other sauces, basically like, you know, ketchup, mustard, mayo, mustard, however you want to say it, peanut butter and jelly. The pluses, you have to have them, each at 3. Desires at 3 for me, because this is not a 40 card deck, it's more than 40, so this helps with deck thinning. And naturally, when you're playing 3 desires in a deck, because you want to see it very often, you kind of want to play at least like minimum 42 to 43 cards, just because desires, by playing it, it takes 12 cards directly from your deck. So yeah, I like playing it at 3 because I love seeing it often, and I often do actually desires more than once a duel. I like to recycle this with Sanctuary, you know, recycle your spells with Sanctuary, recycle your monsters with Emerald, and you can potentially put back, you know, 8 or 9 cards in your deck, and then those 8 or 9 cards can again be banished with Desires, which basically means, you know, you only technically lost 3 cards from Desires, so it's really cool. Like it a lot. But yeah, these are your pluses. You can plus in insane, you know, consist in other manners, but those are definitely like just the easiest ways to plus. Then we've got 3 Las Vegas. We've got 3 Houston, Texas, baby. These are just really, really crucial for the plays. Very, very consistent plays you can make with this deck. Just search for days, you know, search for days. Basically, you know, Monster Reborn and Protection. Really clutch. Naturally, I'll just play this, you know, get the search, and then play this after. And this is my favorite one. I like to sit on this one. But there are times when you're like, you know what, I kind of want to play it safe, so let's leave the meltdown on the field, play your, you know, do your invokes, do your summoning jutsu, and then after that, go ahead and play that Ritual Sanctuary, you know, get your search, get your specials, just combo off the deck. I'm definitely going to let you guys see me playing with this deck because it's really incredible. It's like so explosive, it's crazy. 2 Optimus Prime, I'm still playing the 2, especially when you have 6 searching options and they're all at 3, you have high chances of drawing into the field spells themselves, so I feel that 3 is just like, if you run 3 of this, you'll be drawing into hands with like a Terraforming and a Meltdown and a Ritual Sanctuary and then another Terraforming, just stuff like that. And for your summoning, basically your play enablers, we have 3 Dawn and 2 Summoning Jutsu because it's just like, this is lit. This is like really crazy. But yeah, these are like this is the heart and the soul of the, you know, just the entire deck. Like your mediocre plays are definitely going to be like, you know, Star Seraphs, kind of just like, draw, but then you end up on a monster like Ouroboros and Deltaros, who isn't like as formidable as a Herald can be, as a Makaba could be, you know, just stuff like that. So these are definitely like the most important cards in the deck because without these, you know, you're basically cut off from your most important plays. And 2 Instant Ramen, you just kind of have to. It's just really clutch. I like recycling, you know, the Instant Fusion with Ritual Sanctuary and recycling your Elder Entity Norden with Instant Fusion. With Daigusto Emerald. So basically, Instant Fusion and Norden just get recycled continuously. So you can do it multiple times. And then the 1 prep, it was kind of cool because I actually, there was a situation that came up where I already had Benton, Herald, and Dawn in my hand. And I was afraid of like a warning or a barrier. So what I did was I had this in hand and like, the typical player might just be like, I'm gonna just prep and, you know, search for more fairies for more negates. But then I thought to myself, you know what? If he happens to warning my Dawn, I need this. So what I did was I played the Dawn. Of course, it got warning as I predicted. Dawn went to the graveyard. Then I played this search for Herald and then added Dawn to the Herald that was negated by Solemn Warning from the grave back to my hand. So it was like certain things like that, you know, where you have the right cards and it's just like the order you want to play them in. It came clutch. I was still able to make my Herald, and I baited out the warning, which was pretty clutch. So I think that this is at 1 for a very good reason. It's too broken, too powerful. And yeah, I definitely want to share that with you guys because it's a cool recovery play. Like, If you have your ritual spell, you play it, it's negated. You can play this, get it back, play it again anyway, so it's really clutch. And then one upstart, the one foolish burial goods. This just acts as an enabler, dumping more spells for your ritual sanctuary, and also dumping this guy. And when I was playing Natasha in the deck, I was able to dump, Machine Angel Ritual, Protection plays, stuff like that. I definitely want to run like maybe 2 of this because it's just so clutch, and I would love to see it in every opening hand because it's very broken. Just basically upstart, 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 prep, and then the soul charge. The Raigeki is actually being lended to another deck right now, which is my we'll just call it like Paleo, Paleozoics. We'll just stick it with that. And then for extra deck, we have two Makaba. As I said, Sword and Shield. These guys are like the ultimate. Like just having these on board is just very, very, very deadly. Especially if they can't like Kaiju. If they don't have Kaijus, they basically have no choice but to play around these cards by making me, discard my entire hand potentially. But when you think of it, this deck naturally starts with 5 and ends with 7 cards. And when you make your Ouroboros, your opponent is forced to start with 5 as well. And if you have 7 negates compared to their 5 cards, they'll run out of resources before you ever do. So the deck is just like crazy. That's another reason why Herald is just so broken, It's not just that it can negate, it's the fact that it is able to manage its resources and basically plus more consistently than other decks, and you always have more cards in your hand than your opponent does. So like, the fact that you discard to negate doesn't mean much because it's basically like they're going to run out of cards in their hand before you do, which is like you're good to go from there. Kakaitis, so that you can basically just win the Paleo matchup. Really, really strong. Like this guy and like a Dinko Seika is just very, very deadly. Very deadly. I definitely would say that. Banishing the Ronin Totem, especially when like Paleos are playing Desires. So like, they banished one of their Ronin Totems with Desires, and then you banish the final one with Kakaitis. They absolutely have no Ronin homies. And it's like just really good. Purgatrio, just so underrated. Just such a powerful card. He's a blowout. And the Raijin, because wins are still a thing. Daigusto Emerald for Zodiacs. If Speedroid Engine's still going to be a thing. And if not, you can always bring them out with Instant Fusion. And then the Norden. That's it for fusions. And then we have Utopias. If you're able to make these guys, which the deck, it's really easy to do so. You basically, all you need to do is be able to make 2 Heralds, which means when you make the 2 Heralds, you search for Staff, you search for Chair, and you could just go off into your combo. But, we'll do blase blase, back to what I was saying. If you make these guys, you can just poke for exactly 8,000 damage. And if it wasn't enough, if you happen to detach Utopia off of Lightning, you can then, after you poke for 8,000, you can then chain Beyond, banish him, bring this back, gain 1250, and then poke for, another 25. And because you XYZ summon him properly, you can actually special summon him from grave. So it's really clutch. I like this engine. It's really broken. And then next engine is basically going to be the Star Seraph plays. This is just an absolute blowout for any, Lawn-mowing decks, Lawn-mowing Infernoids, Lawn-mowing, Burning Abyss, Shadows, Paleos, stuff like that. No card sent from the deck. It's just really, really clutch. Like it a lot. If you can make this first turn with your Herald, it's like you're going to win the Infernoid matchup. And then 2 Emerald and 1 Baby Pom-Pom Girl. This is basically like your resource manager. It's like general manager, and then, when people are acting up, assistant manager, help them out. Just basically make sure that your resources are taken care of. And then Baby Pom-Pom Girl, she's like my favorite XYZ. Just tokens, But yeah, that's where I'm at right now with the Heralds. I'm actually debating on whether or not I go back to my my Herald Totally Awesome build, which consisted of Cloudian monsters, which was basically the idea is Herald of Perfection, Bahamut Shark, Totally Awesome, really strong board. But it's like, what's better, Herald and Totally Awesome with the neg, -1, or Herald and Mechaba, with the +2. It's really hard for me to decide which builds I want to stick to, because like I've tried a lot of different ones, and it's like I don't know necessarily which one is the best. I kind of just like, if I've tried it before, I don't go back to it. I try to like do something new. So basically that's what I do with the deck. I was like, I haven't tried Herald Invoked, so let's go for it. And I'm going to probably stick with this one and see where it takes me. And then after that, I may change it up again. You never know. But yeah, this is like my favorite deck of all time. I love it so much. I've gotten amazing, incredible results with this deck. And I'm kind of upset that I didn't take this to the past regionals because I definitely would have just topped with it hands down. But yeah, give me your honest opinion and feedback on the deck, you guys. Just tell me, whatever you want to say, just go ahead and say it. And if you have any deck requests, anything you want to ask me, feel free. I'm always open for discussions, suggestions, etc. But yeah, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. I appreciate you guys for supporting the squad. Thank you guys so much for basically making us relevant. We don't want to be stagnant either. We don't kind of want to just be like, all right, we're at 1,000. Let's just stop making videos, stuff like that. You're always gonna hear from us consistently. Like you hear from me a lot, and I know you don't hear from our other teammates as much, but you do get to see them. If you check out, some of the recent posts we did from Houston Regionals, you can check out, my boy Carlos and my boy Antonio. You can check out my homeboy Charlie, with his fluffos and his trains, and then my boy Dale's Mermails. Like we've got some stuff up there, you guys. Definitely should check it out. And I would definitely ask you guys just check out some of my paleo builds. Check out the Super Quantum Paleos. Check out the Jirac Paleos. Check out the Backjack Korea Bandit Paleos. Those are all from like I believe they're from 2016, like September and August, like around that time. Check those builds out. It'll give you some like good information and some possible good ideas to go off of paleos and stuff like that. And, check out my other recent ones, and I definitely recommend check out my Herald builds. I have like 21 different builds on the channel that you can check out, and all of them are like dimensions different from one another. It's just like crazy. If you guys are more into like stun based decks, check out my Herald Counter Fairies. It was like a ridiculous deck. It was really legit. I actually top 4 with that build before. It was like crazy. But yeah, again, I appreciate you guys so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Don't hurt your brain cells. Make good choices. Make sure your babies are fed. Don't ever be like Yugioh over rent, stuff like that. Oh, I could eat a cheeseburger, but I really want that Raigeki. Make the right choices, definitely. Thank you guys so much, and you'll definitely be hearing more from me. Peace.